Bitcoin slams down to 107, a massive 15 billion in Bitcoin and Ethereum options expire today. But there's a twist to it. There is definitely a twist to it. Despite all the market weakness, ETFs are quietly stacking huge inflows. Ethereum is holding strong above 4,200. XRP sliding back down towards critical support at 271. Strap in. It's definitely going to be a very bumpy ride. All right, welcome back, Crypto Crew. It's your boy Tom here, traveling on the road. If you like what you see, give us a like. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you come on over to X and follow us on X, where we talk about Bitcoin, crypto all day, every day. We are crypto maniacs here. All right, let's get right back into it. All right, so we got a new position that we have taken. I'm going to take you over to WeX in a moment and show you the long Ethereum that we got on. Waited for the market to come to us. We did scoop in the discount area. But right now, this is the pattern everyone's watching. The double top is right now undeniable. Okay, 112 was the line in the sand. Bitcoin smashed through it. Breakdown target is around 100K right now, right down, way down here, right? So market is actually tracking, and we're gonna go into the 2-hour chart and actually pinpoint like what levels we need to get over in order to show that we have to shake off this weakness. Right now, Bitcoin really is like an emotional animal right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. If we look, come on over to good old fear and greed, or F&G as I like to call it. It's sitting right at 39. It's driving down into the fear, which is good because we like to buy fear and we like to sell euphoria. And we'll pick up some points, and make sure you get into the live group, the pro trading group, and we'll guide you through all this. Okay. So right now, as it stands, this is the pattern that everyone's watching, right? And a breakdown target, we got near 100,000 right now. Can it go there? Yeah, we can go there. We got the first line in the sand at 105. But if we reclaim, right now, right around 112,000, we got rocket fuel to take us back up to the old high of 124. Now, whichever way this breaks, it's going to be violent. Okay, so let's get into the 2-hour chart and let's talk about what's happening in the minutia of things. All right. We had the large valley right here that has been now broken. Okay, and now if you notice, we're getting resistance right out, if I go to the body of this candle right there, you're seeing resistance like 109, 105,000. Okay, we dropped down to so far a low of 107,353. The only way that we can shake off some short-term weakness is if we get above like 111. Okay, 111,000. Until then, we are just, in a quagmire drop. The marketplace is tracking, and it's tracking low. It's going to probably, attempt the 106, the lower tine right here. If that one goes, we're looking at that main support at 105,000. All right, so right now as it stands, Bitcoin's level of support, new level of support's the 107,353. With the options expiring today, we're going to get some violent moves. Okay, we could drive down, and the only way that we show any type of strength right now is if we recover over, say, 111,005, 112,000. If I come up to this time here, you're going to see it sits right at 110,100. Bitcoin, in order to show any type of strength, is going to have to recover this point. It needs to hold this line. It needs to recover this point. It could track back down close to the low again and then take off. But right now, as it stands, Bitcoin is having some trouble recovering. And the scenario that I see is actually like a slow drift down lower. Now, it's not over for Bitcoin by no means. If we come on over to the weekly chart, let me take you over to the weekly so we can see exactly where we are. Instead of like looking at each tree in the forest, let's go over and look at the forest itself. Here's the Bitcoin weekly, okay? Here's our double top. And, we can actually, if we look to the body of this candle, we could see 104 is really a better line of support than the 105. But it's, really, when you were talking about a coin like this with the volatility that it has, it's really no real difference. The main trend line support on the weekly sits right at 92,000. Remember, we have the CME market gap that was never filled at 97,500. It would be amazing if it does go into that. We're thinking at that point, this is really the head fake. This is really the reaccumulation of the whales. They're looking to push Bitcoin down as far as they possibly can to shake people out. So it's been known to do this, and it's generally always rallied hard after it. So right now it's struggling to to get above 109.2. It dipped nearly 2.2% today. Intraday lows right around 107,003. The pressure comes from both ETF outflows earlier this week and massive options expiry, which is forcing traders to reposition. So we got to watch that 105,000 support. If it breaks, we could see a fast flush towards the 100,000. Okay. On the flip side, as I just said, reclaiming like 111, 112 could reset the momentum. It's got a lot of wood to chop. Okay. So it's going to be a bumpy ride, so strap in and make sure you get into our pro group. We will lead you through this. Now, here's the bullish twist to all of this. So as we look at the weekly support sitting right at 92, okay, the break of real structure. Everybody's saying structure is broken. Structure is broken. It's not broken. If we look at the weekly, the structure would break if we break down through, say, 70,000. So longer term, Bitcoin is still in good shape. Now, I went over the reasons why the fiat math will come into play, where Bitcoin will rally, and it's going to be much higher in the future. But we gotta deal with today, and Bitcoin itself is very, very emotional right now. It's kind of, I don't want to say it. I can't say it just for the ladies that are watching. But Bitcoin itself is like, when you never mind. I'm not going to say it anyway. So here we are on the short term again. The 107 has to reclaim, say, like 111 to show any type of reprieve from the push down right now. And we're just waiting. We're thinking that down by 106 level right here, say 106 even, and that 104 is actually a better support than the 105. But let's take it one step at a time. Okay, let's take it one step at a time. So despite, as I was just saying, despite the weakness, ETFs recorded strong inflows on August 29th. Net inflows hit 1,578 Bitcoin, worth about 174 million. BlackRock's iShares led the charge, adding 568 Bitcoin, about 62.7 million, bringing their total stash to 746,584 Bitcoin, valued at 82.5 billion. That's massive institutional conviction. As the retail sentiment wavers, big institutions are accumulating. So we got to keep our eye on that. Okay, they bought more, and you just think, if we drop below, if we come close to the 100,000, I would assume that they would start to accumulate more. Now, they may also take a step back at that point and say, okay, let's go for that 97,500 CME market gap, and let's buy the duck feathers out of it at that point. So if we look at Bitcoin as far as the bullish divergence that we're having right now, okay, it's screaming bullish divergence. There are lower lows on price, yet higher lows on RSI. This is a trap when retail panics and whales reload. So the next candle, in the long run, the next candle that matters won't be red. Bitcoin is gearing for a liftoff. Yes, it is slowly grinding lower. Yep. And I believe that it is setting the trap. So if we look at the golden cross that actually has happened, and this is a signal that really very rarely happens, okay? The golden cross only happened 3 times before. 2016, we had a run of 264% up. 2017, we had 2,200%. 2020, we had 1,190%. 2025 is the 4th time it's happening. So get in our pro group. We'll guide you through it. We know that we got a little bit of chop happening right here. To pay attention to the long game, not so much the short game. We're going to ask you, are you in this? Are you going to watch from the sidelines? So make sure you get in our group. We'll guide you through it. Now, I just gave you through the short-term scenarios on, the 2-hour chart. And of course, it's just a 2-hour chart. So if we look again, I'm just going to say, to show some strength, we need to recover above 111, say 5. Okay, that would be a good sign for Bitcoin since we made this low at 107. If we break the 107, we're heading down to the 106 and potentially 105. The 100,000 is a massive psychological support. And of course, that 97,500 would be, I think, a gift. That's my opinion. It would be a gift. All right. So now if we move on over to good old Ethereum, this is the one that's been holding up the best so far. Okay. We look at this, I'm showing you right now the discount levels. Now, we got involved in this area. I'm going to take you over to WEX, the broker of our choice. And what do we got at WEX? We got low fees and fast execution. All right, so here's the Ethereum long. Entry price 3,348. Right now it's flat. Okay, H bar, we're taking a little bit of punch in the nose. We're not really concerned about H bar. H bar, we're thinking is going to really rally hard, but right now, we're taking a hit, and that's where he goes. Like I show you warts and all. We show every one of our positions. We don't hide from them. We actually are an open book in our community. So if we come on over to Ethereum and look at the Wyckoff structure of Ethereum, or actually before I get into Wyckoff, I'll talk about this. We have the Ethereum breakout pattern, and we're thinking the breakout is incoming. So if we look at this wedge itself, okay, we got the support right down at 4,002, 4,001. We need the breakout to occur right around 4,005 again, take us back up to the 4,006. But in reality, now I'll look at Wyckoff, and I'll show you the Wyckoff structure. We got the test right now, okay? So the Wyckoff script is unfolding. Phase D has been locked. The accumulation has been done. What's next? The steepest, most violent leg of the cycle. Ethereum 6,000 is not a dream. It is in play right now. All right, back to the breakout pattern again. All right, so right now ETFs are showing conviction. On August 29th, Ethereum ETFs posted net inflows of 12,489,000. Ethereum worth 54.9 million. Again, BlackRock once again dominated, adding 15,127 Ethereum, a total of about 66.4 million. So now their total Ethereum holdings stand at 3.77 million, valued at 16.6 billion. So even with validator exits stacking up, institutions are doubling down on the Ethereum exposure. So again, we come back, to the Wyckoff again, just hitting the Wyckoff again. It's the Wyckoff script, like I said, is unfolding right before your eyes. So 6,000 is not a dream; it's in play. Ethereum is holding up right around, the 4,300. It's down only 1% compared to Bitcoin. Okay, so we're seeing whales rotating into Ethereum. But the real story, as we said, if Ethereum can clear 4,500 convincingly, it could ignite the bullish run while Bitcoin kind of stays, in this quagmire that it's in. So there's the rotation that we actually have to watch. All right. So if we look at Bitcoin dominance, we can see Bitcoin dominance right now is sitting at 58.25. So rotation's happening. That's also putting pressure on Bitcoin. So what we'd really need to accelerate, Bitcoin and also, Ethereum and all the other altcoins, the altcoins are starting to happen. They're starting to accelerate. So we really need Bitcoin to hold the line, actually recover that 111, and we need Ethereum to do a nice little breakout to actually start the bull run in Ethereum and all the other altcoins, and also give Bitcoin a reprieve from the sluggish tendency that it has right now. So if we look at altcoins itself, all right, now I'm going to show you this chart right here. Altcoins actually, when they start to move, they show absolutely no mercy. They reward patience, and they're going to punish hesitation. So right now, accumulation in fear. Later, euphoria and 10x higher. You're not going to want to miss the liftoff. You're going to want good utility coins. You're going to want to look at HBAR. You're going to want to look at the ones that we talk about in our pro group. We try to steer you to the best ones. Oh, you can say, oh, Tom, you're down in HBAR. Yeah, of course. Okay. But we're not really worried about HBAR. Okay. So if you miss this liftoff, you're going to be buying vertical candles later. Altcoin dominance has bottomed out. It really has bottomed out. If we look at this, every bottom gave the same signal. Every bottom. Every breakout just melted faces. This time is not going to be different. It's bigger. There's a lot more money in this. So dominance is bottom. The rotation is here. Miss this and you're going to be exit liquidity. Legend's already in. Get in our group. We'll guide you through it. Okay. So elsewhere, altcoins are mixed. We got AVAX, ADA continue to see speculative flows as traders position for rotation, while newer names like Layer Brett, Ethereum L2 meme project, and Remitix XRP-backed PayFi token are generating some buzz for their high yields and real-world use cases. Still, the broader altcoin market depends on heavily whether Ethereum can lead the charge of the next leg, and it's going to. Okay, unlike Ethereum and some high beta alts, XRP right now is not catching a bid. I'm going to take you over to XRP for the XRP army. All right, and we're going to cover this right here. It's actually sliding back towards the major support at 271 right now. Okay, so right now the low has been what? What's the low? 276. The main support of this thing right now is the 271. We had this dip down to the 270, 273, but the line that has to hold, that the bulls have to hold, is 271. If 271 breaks, we're looking at 260. So right now, as it stands, it needs to recover above 3. Now there are other points too. You could look at like 296, 297, but really the true point is $3. It needs to recover 3. And it needs to take out that damn 307 resistance. Once it does that, it could trade back up to 315. And it's going to have some, trouble up at 315, probably pounce back down. But right now, we have to keep a close eye on this level right there, 271. If that level gives way, the next downside target could open up around the 260 level. So the bulls need to defend the 271 hard to avoid a deeper correction. All right, before we wrap up today, before I get back out on the road, before I get to the beach and try to do some surfing, which I'm really horrible at, I got to tell you about our trading community. You can come right here for the link in the description. You click this link, you'll be taken over to this Telegram site where you could actually copy our trades, follow us. We got insane alpha trading opportunities daily for breakout setups, long-term gems. We got you covered here. You want to follow us on our broker of choice, which is WEX. You come on over to this part of the description. You click this link. Where is it? Yeah, I think it's this one right here. To register, you'll be taken over to WEX, the broker of our choice. Low fees, fast execution. Everything you could want in a broker is right here. All right. So what do we got going on that we got to pay attention to on this Saturday? All right. So we got some macro headwinds, right? We got doubts about Fed rate cuts that are keeping a lid on prices right now. But when you see institutional ETF inflows piling up on both Bitcoin and Ethereum, it shows bigger players are buying the dip and positioning for the next leg higher. The wild card right now is XRP. Will it hold the 271 or will it break down, which could drag sentiment further down in altcoins? But really, Ethereum's the star of the altcoin show. So that's it for today's update, crew. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. If you found it helpful, send us to all your friends. Make sure you come on over to X. Follow us on X where we talk about Bitcoin, crypto all day, every day. So here's the deal. What do you got to do? Well, you got to join our pro group, okay? You got to get in there, all right? You got to trade with your head and over it. You got to stay calm, okay? This is just the marketplace acting, and I want to say it like I keep saying, like a lady, emotional right now. We got to let the the lady worked through her emotional issue, just take a step back, like I do with my girl. And she gets like that, I say, all right, I just leave, go have a beer at the bar or something. But also what you have to do is you have to do your own research. You got to trade with your head and not over it. And as a short-term trader, you got to enjoy the party, but dance near the door. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.